Like I said, first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about Rainbows, and then what I'll do is I've got an update from one of the shop managers about the actual clothes that we got on the day. Rainbows is a hospice for children and young people. It's for all over the whole East Midlands, and what we provide is a service for the whole family. It's not just for the child, it's for the whole family and the siblings, and the child has to be terminally ill. That is the box that needs to be ticked to actually use the hospice. For the families, the service we provide is giving them palliative care. If you've got a child who needs 24-hour care, you know, the siblings get lost in translation, bless them, they don't get the time they need with their parents. The parents don't get time with each other, so they can leave their child at the hospice and just have a break that they deserve. The pressure on these families is absolutely enormous. So it costs at the minute just around £4 million to keep the doors open, because we can have children and young people in at the same time. I've got lots of leaflets, so please do let me know if you want any more information about the hospice. Clothes Drive, I spoke to a manager just today actually, and I want to show you the enormity of what the bags actually meant. Like you said, was it 1,000 bags, did you say?
Yeah.
One shop, we gave just 22 bags out of all of those, and she's actually broken it down. Out of those 22 bags, they had 146 ladies' items, which was a shop value of £600. And the kids' clothes are a high worth for the shops, and they had 167 units, which was worth over £500. They had bric-a-brac, bags, shoes, toys. Keep in mind it's only 22 bags out of those 1,000 bags that we collected that day. All in all, it's got a worth of over £2,000, and that's 22 bags. They said 73 brand new items with tags on. They're flying off the shelves, and they have to do a audit whether it's good, bad, and they said the highest was good to exceptional, and that's what all the stuff was that we got on the day. So we were just one charity that you helped on the day, and that, like I said, one shop, 22 bags. So just imagine the good we did for all the charities on the day. But again, I just want to thank you all for helping out, because I had such a good day, it was such a success, and everyone came together, and like you said, you know, me and Sonia were right in there with the bags, and it was so good to see everyone get together. So like I said, if you did want any more information about Rainbows, please do give me a shout, and thank you for letting me be a part of this as well. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. And so another charity, I have to admit, I only learnt about myself probably a few weeks before we had the clothes drive. And we've actually got Ranjit here today, who's the trustee of another one of the charities from the day, that is Unique Home for Girls. And so again, we've just asked Ranjit to come forward and give us a bit more information about the charity in terms of what they do, but also how people can get involved beyond the clothes drive. For a lot of people who would like to help further, this is your opportunity to speak to people and learn a bit more. So over to you, Ranjit.
Hello everybody, my name's Ranjit. This is my wife Rena. We are two of the trustees of UK Friends of Unique Home. I suppose I'll just explain what Unique Home is. It's based in Jalandhar, Punjab. It looks after abandoned young girls. You know, in India there's an issue of infanticide, and unfortunately baby girls can be discarded and their fate can be very uncertain. And what Unique Home has, it has a safe deposit box type cradle built into its wall, and essentially what can happen is if somebody is in that position where they're considering such a scenario, they can deposit the baby there, they can leave, the little alarm goes off, and from that point onwards the baby will be looked after right through to adulthood. So it's not a film, it's not a drama, it really exists. There's 61 girls at the present time, established in 1993. And one of the problems Unique Home has is that the original premises that it had has become quite cramped. They're lacking space. So they had a long-term project to move on to a new home. It's a really beautiful home with surroundings, with gardens, etc. But the funding has been difficult. And they're very close now to being able to move to the new home. They hope to move possibly next year. I was at Unique Home just about 2-3 months ago, and had the chance to go into both of the buildings, the old building and the new building. So first of all, it was a privilege for us to be selected and chosen for the clothes drive. It clicked in really well because we had a clothes drive running for 3 months where we were going to send items to the home, and basically the stuff that came in on that Sunday was great. It was a tremendous atmosphere, a lot of energy. You know, the seva was fantastic, and it was, for me, one thing that was quite important is that we've done events in Leicester which have been a little bit more professional, lawyer, corporate type events. And what this did was it showed just how much good can be done by young people, people with a lot of energy. I know they worked the whole weekend. It was like a 14.50 an hour a day, so it was awesome. Really, I was really impressed with the organisation and the spirit, and obviously what we got out of it was fantastic. To update the story, we got about 20 boxes together, obviously which a fair proportion was the donation from that day. We had contributions. They wanted specific things like sleeping bags, teethers, etc. So we bought those extra items from pledges that we've been given for £300-400. And the items left Leicester, went to London. We've got a trustee, an ex-trustee in London, and the journey actually should start tomorrow to India. It's going on a sort of a secure delivery service by flight. We pay a bit extra for that because we know it's 100% guaranteed it's going to get there. So the items that you collected should hopefully be within the home within 2 weeks' time, less than that. What we asked Bibi Gurpurab is the founder of Unique Home. What we've asked is when the items land, if they can, is take a selection of photographs of the items, and if that's done, then we'll obviously look to post that up as well. How you can help? You already help so much. Thank you for that. But obviously, social media has been quite important, and I know you guys are very hot on social media in terms of getting the information out. So obviously, we've got a Facebook with more than 5,000 followers. We have a website which is just being revamped. You can join the mailing list, and that just give you an email, and then you'll get told about forthcoming events. And obviously, if you go to Punjab on a family visit or otherwise, then take a couple of hours out and go to the home and look at it yourself. We never sell the home to people. We don't have to convince people. We just say it's there, take a look, and obviously make up your own mind. So really, we're really indebted for your support. Really indebted for the stuff you got together. And I've got a plan for next year. I want to see if we can do something together, which fits obviously the kind of events that you like to do with Unique Home, and hopefully we can do something in the next 3, 4, 5 months. So thank you very much from UK Friends of Unique Home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you got any questions? I would say, if anyone's got any questions. No?
How many children's?
61 girls at the present time. Toddler section has about 12, 13 girls. The youngest entrant was is just over 1. And obviously at the other end, the girls who then go on to higher education, they go into university, they actually get married as well at the other end of the scale. So it's a very broad spectrum in terms of the age.
Is there any age limit, sort of what age they can stay there?
There isn't an age limit. I think Bibi herself, her history was that she was abandoned, so I don't think she's ever going to eject anybody out of the home. And what they try to do is they try to give the girls high quality upbringing. I mean, they have their rules, like they don't accept second-hand clothes. All the clothes we took from the clothes drives were new. All of them were new. They don't accept second-hand clothes. Education has to be to the highest level. The schools have to be the best schools. And ultimately, the ones who don't go into education will go down the traditional marriage route. So yeah, that's simple. And what's really nice is that when they get married, they then come back to the house as if they're visiting, just how you would visit your own family, which I've seen, which is absolutely lovely. They come back with, their own children as well, which is amazing. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much again. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ranjit said that we're looking to do a lot more work with Unique Home next year as well, which just reminds me of another point I wanted to quickly say as well. Clothes Drive, we saw how big it was, but Clothes Drive was initially from the idea of Food Drive. Food Drive came from one person's original thought and thought, why don't we do something for Food Drive? And look at how that grew, and that became Clothes Drive. And so if someone has an idea or anything that you think, I'd like to raise awareness of this cause, or I'd like to do a certain event, please do share that with us, because we're always looking for new ideas, and there's a team of people who will help you take the idea forward. But it takes one person to have that brainwave to begin with, and that's how we get 1,000 bags and 10 tons worth of food. There's another charity who we've helped on the day who can't be here today. That's Action Homeless. A lot of you would have heard of them. They provide homeless hostels in Leicester, and one of their projects is called Bridge House. And so she sent a letter to us that she asked us to read because she couldn't come herself, so I'll just take the key points. Would like to thank everyone who donated at the Gurpurab Clothes Drive. All the women's and children's clothes have now been delivered to Bridge House, which is a project which supports women and children. the women at the project have been given the items, and some of them have been kept because, again, they were very surprised at the quantity that they received. They've actually been able to keep some for future people who need the service as well. And they also collected some of the toys that were given on the day. They'll be giving them out as Christmas parcels. But one of the key points about Bridge House is that because the women and children who will be fleeing domestic abuse at home often go there with just their clothes that they're wearing, they won't have anything in a suitcase or a bag, unfortunately, or any sort of accessories. It's whatever they're wearing. And so through giving these clothes and items, it starts to help them rebuild their lives, and so that they can try to get back into community without having to live in fear. And so they just wanted to thank everybody for their generosity and for taking part. And again, if anybody would like to learn more about Action Homeless, we can circulate the website afterwards and just check them out, and you'll see the work that they do. And so now that brings me on to the final charity representative today. They couldn't be here, unfortunately, British Sikh Council UK, but Darndeep's going to talk through one of the projects that they do, because I admit I only learned about this myself very recently, and when you learn about the work that they're doing, again, you can't help but feel inspired. So.
I'm not involved in British Sikh Council in any way, and my only involvement is other than just seeing on Sikh Sangha, Sangha TV, I think, is a channel. I think, I'm not really aware of what projects they work on, but they've got one project that I think everyone kind of was aware of. It's basically supporting Sikh Ligar and Ranjara Sikhs. They're Sikhs that basically live outside of Punjab, primarily. They've got a very rich heritage and connection with Sikhi, but as time has gone on, they're known as forgotten Sikhs. So rather than actually going to what the charity does, because I don't know, other than obviously we supported them in terms of giving them clothes, but there was a video online that I thought would be really nice to share with the Sangha, because I don't think the Sangha knows who Sikh Ligar and Ranjara Sikhs are, because their population is very, very high, but they're very poor, and we as a community, well, no one's supporting them. And what's happening now is they're in the millions. They're a very large population, but they are being converted aggressively to Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, simply because the Sikh community has forgotten them. So I just want to share a quick video about them. Now, they don't live in Punjab. Like I said, they live all throughout India in very, very large numbers throughout India, Agra, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, you name it. Very large populations, but they, in terms of caste, they don't recognize their caste. And the word Sikh Ligar is a title given to them by Guru Gobind Singh themselves. So it's not something that will come in caste, but they will only recognize themselves as Sikh Ligar. Now, because they only define themselves as Sikh Ligar, they will not get any representation in India. They won't get funding, nothing. So basically, literally, they are nothing. They've got nothing, no support from the government, and they're living a dire state. But the only reason is because they refuse to recognize caste, which obviously is against Sikhi, but at the same time, they want to stick to the title that Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj gave them to them in it. So they are in their millions, but because they're not in the census, they're not recognized as Sikhs. So that's why when we think of India, we think there's only 20 million Sikhs in India. But actually, if you add in Sikh Ligar Sikhs and Ranjara Sikhs, the numbers go way, way higher. We're talking about 50, 60, 70 million potentially. But these people have been, Ranjara Sikhs in particular, which is by money since ancestry, 80% of them have been converted to Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity. Only 20% left. The Sikh Ligar Sikhs, the same is happening with them. But now Maragirpa, hopefully there's a couple of Jatabani and people from India and the West that are trying to support. So what we tried to do here was use the clothes, support a charity that's doing it, because it's something that we can't do. From here I couldn't do, but I felt quite passionate about supporting our people back in Punjab who need it, because the reality is, if people give them even a taka, is to convert. There's a reason behind it. There's an agenda behind it. Obviously in Sikhi we never do that. Ours has always been to do seva for the sake of seva. But obviously there's agendas behind what people do, and they're being converted on a very aggressive level. So I just wanted to basically let people know about Sikh Ligar Sikhs and the Ranjara Sikhs, and how maybe as a community that maybe it's projects that we need to think about how we can support them as well. Because we talk about we don't have a vote bank in India, but actually we do, if we included our brothers and sisters that are Sikh Ligar and Ranjara Sikhs, but unfortunately we're not. So in terms of British Sikh Council itself, I did have a quick word with them, and they said that they're going to do a samagam in India, and they're going to invite all the Sikh Ligars, and basically as many as they can, and do a massive samagam, and that's where they're going to give the Gurpurab. So they said that they'll basically publicise on Sangha TV, and hopefully air that on Sangha TV as well. If you have any questions about how the clothes are going to go there or anything about what they do. I don't really know, but what we can do is I can give you a number and you can speak to them directly. Again, I'm not directly linked to them, but I think the cause is worthwhile, so that's one of the reasons why we got pressure from the Sangha to support this cause. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Earlier on, there's a video from the day which our photographers at Kasim Sangha over here very nicely made for us. And so we're going to put that on, and hopefully, for those of you who haven't seen this, we'll show you how it went.
Kind of says that all in itself, and it was good, but it was a nice day for everyone to really get in, pitch in, and do something good for the planet and humanity, really, you know. One thing that we want to move on to the next talker is that one thing that we did a lot, a lot of seva was done in the day, but by doing so much seva, one thing that we weren't able to do was sit in the divan, which is obviously a very important concept, obviously, to sit with Maharaj and on the day and experience Sangat as well. So I think kind of that was lacking. So what we've got is Producer Bhaji going to come over now and talk about the importance of Gurpurab and maybe the spiritual side as well. So we learned about the seva side. So I'm just going to pass over to Bhaji, and Bhaji will then also tell you about what we're going to do in the room next door, and also a project that is starting, an event that is starting in about 10 days time, and which will last for 10 days. I'll pass it to Bhaji now. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੱਖ ਲੱਖ ਵਧਾਈ ਹੋਵੇ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਭਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ। ਇਹ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਪਰਉਪਕਾਰ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ। So before I kind of move on, I just want to explain what this said to the older lot and the people who understand Punjabi is that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj through us got us the ability to do paropkar. Paropkar means par means for someone else, opa means nere hoke, kar means you help them. So kise vaste nere hoke, uski sabta you help them out in a daring way. Now, although we're sitting in a very far country, and some of these projects might be in India, like the Singh guide, some of the projects are more closer to home. The fact that the thought that we and the time that we put in was bringing all those clothes together and all the other consumables that they were there, it's a big nishani, and that power and that ability to do that is vested by us or into us by Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. Because it was Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, when we look at their history, it was Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj who, when he was told to do kirtan, when he was told to work hard at Kartarpur side, they were given control of a shop by the owner, whose name is Daulat Khan. And every single day outside the Modi, what was called Modi, where Maharaj used to measure flour and consumables and give it to free. He used to give it free to everyone. There used to be a line of people lined up without any money in their hands who would receive something from that shop. And obviously after time, people began complaining that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is wasting the profits of the shop. And he just keeps giving and giving. So when they would bring Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj to account in front of Daulat Khan, every single time when they balanced the books, the Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj was always in profit. Always in profit. They did it 3 times, and the 3rd time, every time they did it, it was like quadrupling in profit. Even though Maharaj kept giving, he kept saying, that's how we say the word Tera, Tera, it's all yours. Keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's principles of giving, they have continued in the Sangat, in the form of the Sangat. Like Andy Singh asked, like, can we talk about Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and bring it home and relate it to Gurpurab and how it is all related to Gurpurab? When we come to Guru Card, most of us enjoying in some sort of sitting listening to Katha and Kirtan or Sangat. For those people who have got that faith and commitment which is a bit higher than a lot of others, it tends to they make the effort. They sit down, they might not understand everything, but they still make the effort. And in the house of Guru Nanak, effort is rewarded. Regardless of what level spiritually you are at, or whether you understand anything, or whether you have any concept of what Sikhi is, it's the effort of attending and partaking in the actions which are rewarded. There's loads of Sakhiya, loads of stories in Sikh history where Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj has laid the importance of feeding the Garib, And in one instance, Guru Hargobind in Sheme Pasha said that the Guru's golak, where we put money in, is actually the mouth of the poor. Sadhguru Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, just looking at that video, it brought some lines to my mind. Because standing there, we think we're so far away from the city guys, and we're so far away from the little girls charity in Jalandhar. How come we're so far away? What can we do here that will help? And I thought to myself, my mind is so beiman that in this room where we're celebrating charity, we're celebrating doing dance for people who need it most, I'm wondering here that I can't do anything for them because they're so far away. Then I thought some lines. Those lines are from Asa Diwar, which is recited by Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And in it he talks about givers, the type of givers they are. Because the Sikh Sangat as a whole is a great giver. We give to everyone. That is the bakshish, that is the blessing again. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. Maharaj says, Satya man santokh upja, dene keh vichar, de de mangay sahsa guna, sob kare sansar. Maharaj talks about 4 types of givers there. We'll go backwards because it's easier to do that and it's good to finish on a positive. Maharaj says, Sob kare sansar, there's those type of people who give to others but do it because they want some sort of status or some sort of importance in their life. They want to be known as givers. So they have what we call, it feeds their ego, if you want to put it that way. That's not nishkam, that's not selfless. That's not what Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj wants us to do. Maharaj says, Satya man santo gupya dena kya vichar de de mangah saisa guna. There are those people who give and they want more back in return. So for example, if we want something, we give some money to someone, they charge interest and want it back again. Those people who give but with something in return as well. And that's probably not the ishara that Maharaj wants us to be. Then Maharaj says, Dena ke vichar. There's people like me who just keep thinking about giving but don't ever give. And just stand there and think, and they get stuck at that point. It's a sticky moment. They don't have the ability to do anything physically or give physically. So they're stuck in that kind of mindset. Maharaj says, those 3 types of givers are not the types that we should try to be. What should we try to be? Maharaj says, Satya man santokh upja. Maharaj says, when we have been asked to give, when we give it, we get a sense of contentment in our hearts. I'm happy with this thing going away from me. I'm happy to do bala for other people. I feel content within myself. And that is what selfless is, without having any reward, being completely nishkam, what you call, being selfless. Giving selfless, he said, no, I don't want anything back, this is my duty. This is what our duty is as a Muslim. So, on that day of the Gurpurab, I came very late to the actual clothes bit. Before that, Maharaj Sahib Kirpana, we were attending the Nishan Sahib Seva, which takes place usually on a Gurpurab. The word Nishan means symbol, it means sign. And those 2 words appear in Sikhi in very different ways. The Kapasi we talk about Nishan Sahib, the symbol of our faith. It calls everyone in. It pulls it. When it waves the Fadla, the Khanda sign, you can far away people can see and call us. It's calling us all the way. And then you have further down the Nishan Sahib, you have something called the Kamar Kasa. It's a cloth that's tied around the middle of the Nishan Sahib. We've got one out here as well. You can see it. And Kamar Kasa, the meaning of that, just to finish off really, means that we should be ever ready. When Singhs or Singh or tend to have their Kamar Kasa ready, it means that you're ever ready, you're prepared to do something. And we should always be prepared to do good for others. Not just on Gurpurab days, on every single day of our lives, we should be in that position. Now if somebody comes to your doorstep, I am Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj's Sikh, and no one should ever leave from the house of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Sikh or Guru Nanak Dev Ji, empty-handed. We should always give something. The other type of nishan that's mentioned, when you look in the old texts or the old version of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, in the content pages, usually we refer to Japji Sahib as Japji Sahib the first Bani. But alongside it, sometimes in the contents, you see Jap Nisan, which means the symbol of Sikhi, not only the Nishan side and being ever ready to do good for everyone and remembering Parmeshwar Vaheguru, but also reciting that Bani Japji Sahib, because that is also our symbol. So if one thing that we can do in our lives as a result of this Gurpurab is that if we already do Japji Sahib in our lives, then add another one. If we don't do it, then let's do it. Let's start listening to it. Let's start reciting it. Because in Gurbani, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, when we talk about giving, daan, daan dena, that is a path to God, not in Kaljug. It was a path to God in previous ages, like right in the dark ages, if you put it that way, medieval times. In this age, because people are more of a selfish mindset, the way to Parmeshwar Vaheguru is to recite the praise of God, which we call Naam or Naam and reciting in God. So when we do charitable actions, it's like the coin is going into the piggy bank, but we're still holding the coin there. It's the charitable action on its own. But the coin will only fall into that piggy bank if we've got the Naam with it, if we've got the Bani with it. So it's really important that whenever we do Gurpurabs, when we're doing any seva, that we always remember the fact that we're doing this because Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj has given us the power to do this. That takes away ego and God and everything. And I should be remembering Parmeshwar Vaheguru at the same time as doing it. And that is what the aim is of today. Baji said we're going to make a couple of announcements. We're going to go next door and we're going to do some Simran together, which is possibly putting the coin into the piggy bank now. Right? The other thing is, it's been an idea of all the Najwan and a couple of things we'll put our heads together. From the 16th of December to the 26th of December this year, 10 days, we're going to do Vaheguru Jap in Sangat form. You might have been seeing it on the Sikh media already happening in all the Gurdwara around the country. 1 hour Jap at Pant Prakash Gurdwara, which is just off Ashford Road, off Welford Road. And the aim is to unite as many people as possible. This is like a forerunner to another big program that we're planning in the middle of the year. But hopefully we're asking you, we're doing Benti Yofi, forget what groups we belong to. We belong to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And the place where we remember Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj through his praise, okay, is the place where unity is. So when we all sit together, regardless of which Guru Kara we are in, we sit together and remember Vaheguru praise even more, Maharaj will give us even more utshah, even more motivation to do good deeds for others. Because this house of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is above all. You should never forget that. Maharaj says in Bani, he says, Sabte Vadda Sat Guru Nanak, Jin Kal Rakhi Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is Vaheguru, God on earth. He's come here to resolve us and resolve our mindsets so that we can do more for the society that we live in. That's what Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is up there. So he went to the world.
Actually, Sikhi ਦੇ perspective ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਾਈ ਜੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸੁਣੇ ਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਵੈਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਇਵੈਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੰਦੇ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਾਂ और रोड जितना आप कैंपी होने सारा कुछ करते हैं साढ़े बहुत जरूरी है साढ़े को ऐसा गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी को अरदास को तो मैं यही जानी कि सारे का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहना है क्योंकि तुम करते हैं असं तो सूँ सिर्फ स्पेस ही प्रोवाइड करते हैं जी साड़ी जानी कि ड्यूटी बनती हैगी है भी जानी कि नौजवानों ने सारे ने रल के जो गुरुद्वारा किया इन्होंने भी मदद करके ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਾਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਕੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਹੋਸਟ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਬੇਸ਼ੱਕ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਸਟੈਬਲਿਸ਼ਮੈਂਟ ਬਹੁਤ ਚਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਫਸਟ ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਵਰਲਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਸਫਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਪਾਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਾਗਰਿਕ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਇੱਥੇ ਹਨ ਮੁਸੀਬਤਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਜਾਣੀ ਕਿ ਐਡਵਾਂਸ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੀਏ ਵੀ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਕੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਤਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜਾਏ ਹੁਣ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੇਸਿਕ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਗਰਾਜ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁਣ 1 ਘੰਟੇ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਕਈਆਂ ਨੇ, ਜਿਹਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨਸ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਕੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀ। ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੁਨਿਆਵੀ ਧਰਮ ਆ, ਨਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਐਕਸਕਲੂਸਿਵ ਸਾਡਾ ਹੈ। ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅਪਣਾਈਏ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਆ, ਜੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਣੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਲੋ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਜਗਤ ਹੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਹੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਹਿਊਮੈਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਆ। ਪਰ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਿਊਮੈਨਿਟੀ ਲਈ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਆ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਜਾਣੀ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਾਲੇ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਆ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੀ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਜਾਣੀ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਦਾਸ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਲਈ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਵੈਂਟ ਕਰੋ, ਔਰਗਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰੋ। ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹੋ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਵੀ ਔਰਗਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਖੜੇ ਹਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ 100%। ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਥ ਦਿਓਗੇ ਜੀ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ, ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੁਲਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਥੰਮ ਇਹ ਘੋੜਾ ਆ। ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜੋੜਨਾ ਜਿਸਲੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਜਾਣੀ ਕਿ ਐਸ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ। ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਜਿਸਲੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਨਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪ ਤੁਰ ਕੇ ਜਾਈਏ, ਉਹਦਾ ਵੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਾਣੇ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੈ ਸਾਨੂੰ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਅਤੇ ਮਾਤਾ ਦੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਮੁਖ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਤਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜਾਣੀ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਦਾਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ, ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਵੀ, ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਕ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਜਾਣੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਘੰਟਾ ਹੀ ਆ, ਘੰਟਾ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਤਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣਾਈਏ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਬਿਰਾਜਮਾਨ ਹੋਣਾ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਹੀ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਪਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਦਾ ਸਦੀਵੀ ਆ। ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਚੇਤਾ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੀ ਕਮੇਟੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ ਵਿਗਿਆਨ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਪਰ ਨਹੀਂ।
Guru